Greetings, it's Iain from RDO here. Hope you had a great weekend, everyone. I had a weekend of doing absolutely nothing, really. Watching telly, catching up on a few bits. So, yeah, all fresh, ready to start the week. And we're going to start the week with the last part of Michael Schenker story. This is part 9. It's one of the biggest ones we've done, I think. So we're going to do some collaboration work, bits and bobs that he's done with other people. I've included 2 albums, the same group, but they're all covers. So I thought I'd put them in here because it's very hard to rank cover albums. So we've got 5 albums today. So the first album I'm going to look at is a band called The Plot. Now, this was formed in 2003 with Pete Way, and he's from UFO and a long-time friend of Michael. So, the 2 of them wanted to form a band like UFO again, and asked Phil Mogg and Andy Parker to regroup with them, but the tension was still fiery, so it didn't happen. So, halfway through the recording of the UFO album Sharks, they decided to do Sharks and then do something else, and they brought in drummer Jeff Martin and released this one album just called The Plot by The Plot. So it's Michael Schenker on lead guitar, Pete Way bass guitar and lead vocals, and Jeff Martin on the drums, so a rock trio. So the first track on this one is called You and Me. I love this track. Probably Pete Way's best vocal on here. It's a great bass line as well. It's just a classic sounding 3-piece rock band track. I do like it. Need Her Bad. Some nice drumming here from Jeff Martin. Some great riffs supplied by Michael, and that great bass line from Pete is good as well. Not too bad, that one isn't. Kicked Out, definitely one of my favourites on here as well. The nice interplay between Pete and Michael on here is pretty good. The singing's a bit gropey, I must admit, but the music sounds great. Miss You Tonight. Oh, I'm not keen on this one at all. It's a little bit thing. It's a terrible vocal. Pete is not the best singer, unfortunately. Great bass player, but was not the best singer. I was not very keen on that one. Then we have a track called Born Again. My favourite track on here. It's got a classic Pete Way bass line with a great bit of guitar work there from Michael. Again, the vocal is one of the better vocals on here. Take Another Shot is next. Now, this is a track that musically it sounds brilliant. The 3 of them playing well together, and then Pete had to sing. It's not the best vocal. Shakedown. It's all right. Just bog standard rock track. Senorita. Not one of my favourite tracks. Just My Luck. No, I like the music. I just don't like Pete's vocals. I'm sorry. Wild Wild Things. It's an okay track. Ain't Got You. One of the better tracks on here. Some great riffs from Michael though. Might As Well Go Drinking. Definitely last album on the Track Syndrome here. It's not very good. Pretty weak actually. All I will say about this album is that I think the musicianship on it is pretty good. The playing's good, but Pete's vocals, some sound good, some don't. It's a shame they couldn't find a proper singer, because if they'd have found a proper singer, I think this would have been a better album. But it's the Pete's vocal delivery that lets it down a little bit. So I shall give this an RTO ranking of 4 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 4, is what went down in the book as a Schenker Barden acoustic project. And the album's called Gipsy Lane, and it came out in 2009, and it features his own vocal cohort Gary Barden, backing vocals Michael Voss, and Kai Luneman on percussion, and Michael doing the acoustic guitars. So it's an acoustic album. So the first track is Lost. Yes, okay. It's not bad. It's not good. It's okay. Dance Gypsy Lady, really nice. I do like this one. Some nice guitar bits from Michael. Gary's vocals pretty good on that one. I like that one. All of My Life, musically sounds good, but I struggled with Gary again. It sounded a little bit flat. Fight for Freedom, pleasant enough track. Nothing wrong with that one. El Grande. My favourite track on here, it's an instrumental. It's just like he did with his acoustic solo albums. Really good. I do like that one. Starting Over, one of the better ones. It's a gentle acoustics with some nice. Gary's vocals are pretty good on that. Can't Live Love Alone. I don't know who the female singer on this is. It's certainly not Michael Voss doing backing vocals, because he'd need a monkey wrench on his doo-doos to sing that high. But it's good. I like that one. Another Melody. It's not too bad either. Pretty sound. Travelled So Far. Very nice song. Then we have Hungry, which is a pretty good track. One of my favourite tracks on here. I like it because it's got some strings on it and it sort of adds to it, and it's not a bad track. The Night of the Stair, probably the weakest track on here. It's just the vocal that's a bit flat. The Journey is another really good instrumental, very good. Some of the vocals are a little bit weak. I don't know if I like Michael Schenker doing just acoustic. I mean, he's a great guitar player, but it just falls flat a little bit in places. But there are some nice tracks on here as well, so I should give this an RTO ranking of 6 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 3 for the next couple of albums, a little thing put together called by Michael Schenker and Davey Pattison. Now, he's born in Scotland and was based in San Francisco. Was a singer, and he sort of joined up with Michael in 2004, and they brought in Aynsley Dunbar, who's just a legend in rock, isn't he? And they brought in a bass player called Gunter Nadoza to record Endless Jam. They followed it up with another album when they brought in the one and only Mr. Tim Bogert as well. So the first album we're going to look at of these is my number 3, and it's The Endless Journey Continues. So it's the second of the Schenker Pattison Summit. So it's Michael Schenker, Davey Pattison, who's worked with Robin Trower and Gamma, Aynsley Dunbar on the drums, and of course Tim Bogert, legendary bass player with Vanilla Fudge, and Mark Robinson, who plays keyboards on this, is played in a band called Cairo. So they're all covers. So the first cover they do is a Bad Company number called Rock Steady. Of course, it's the best version on the best track on this album. They do a really good version of it. Can't knock that one. And then they go and do a Beatles, While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Pretty good. Then they do a Robin Trower song, which is understandably when you got Davey Pattison on here, and they do a very good version of Two Rolling Stones. Very, very good. They do Layla from Derek and the Dominoes. Pretty good. Then we have I'm Losing You from the Temptations. Now that's a little bit different. It's a little bit, they've done a really good rocky version of it. I quite like that version. Then we go, they do a free song, they do The Hunter, and do a really good version of it as well. Bit of Cream and Badge, excellent little version of that. Then we have a Humble Pie track, a great track they did, and they do a great version of I Don't Need No Doctor. Then to a bit of Traffic for Dear Mr. Fantasy, another very good version of it. Wang Dan Doodle, the Howling Wolf number, pretty good. Then they do another Humble Pie, I'd Love to Change the World. For an album of just full of covers, they're really good covers. There's not really a bad track on here. I think it's a pretty good hit, and they do something different. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 6.6. Coming in number 2 is the first Schenker Pattison Summit, The Endless Jam, and this one's from 2004. The only difference is that Gunter Nedoza, who's an Austrian bass player, joins Michael, Davey and Ainsley. First and Kerry, and we got Kevin Curry on rhythm as well. The first track is a cover version of the Yardbirds Shape of Things, but it's done more in the vein of the Gary Moore version that he did on Victims of the Future. Pretty good. Then we have a bit of Jimi Hendrix, Hey Joe, great version, nothing wrong with that one. Then they do Pearly Queen, which is pretty good. A Whiter Shade of Pale, the Procol Harum. No, it's not as good as Procol Harum's, I'm afraid. Then the best track on here is a great track from Mountain, Never in My Life. Brilliant version of it, and it's one of my favourite tracks by Mountain anyway. Long Misty Days from Mr. Robin Trower, or Trower, depends how you say it. Great version. Then we have a brilliant version of Montrose, I've Got the Fire. Voyager, don't know who's done this, but it's pretty good. Then we have The Stealer from Free, brilliant version of it. Then a Jack Bruce track called Theme of an Imaginary Restaurant. Again, they do a really good version. And the last track is Built for Comfort by Howlin' Wolf. Of the two cover albums, this is the best. They're just some great tracks, and I really like this album as well. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. But my number one in these Michael Schenker collaborations is a album that he done with an American singer called Amy Schugar, 2003, and it's called Under Construction. Amy met Michael at a concert by Eric Johnson, and they sort of started working together. So Michael decided to get the MSG band that was performing at the time to help her with this album. So it's basically the Michael Schenker group at the time and Amy Schugar. Now the first track on here is a track called High Cost. Oh, this is great. Great rocker. You know, if you like MSG, you're going to like this. And Amy Sugar's vocals are superb. It's a fantastic track. I do like that one. I Need This Feeling. The riffs are in good. The intensity of that rhythm guitar as well. It's another fine vocal from Amy. Surrender. Some nice acoustic guitar on here. Great bass line. Fantastic track. Back Through the Window. Really catchy tune. It's got that great Michael Schenker riff, the rolling riff. Some great solo on this as well. I Need You, not the best track on the album, probably the weakest one, to be quite honest. Love and Danger, just typical Michael Schenker riffs, great solo, fantastic vocal again by Amy. All I Get, another solid track, just as what it says on the tin. It's just great rock music. But my favourite track is the last track, and it's Victim of the System, because it's got that melodic rhythm that Michael was so good at, or still is. fantastic vocal, and it's probably Amy's best vocal on the album. It's an absolutely killer track. Pretty good album. I'd never heard this one until it didn't. First time I heard it was about 3 months ago, and I really enjoyed this one. To the fact that I put it into my library. Well, I did one better. It's on the iPod. I just took it straight off and put it onto the iPod. It's a great album. I just love it. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.3. So there we go, folks. We have covered as much as I know I can find of Michael Schenker, starting way back in that little concert in Germany, through his UFO years, his solo, and all these other things. What a guitar player! One of my favourite guitar players of all time. So next week we'll be starting a brand new story, and you'll find out who that's going to be on Thursday. Okay, coming up next is the second perfect side, and there's no fooling around this week. It goes straight into a great album, and it was a challenge from Mastermind Dave again. He says one of his favourite albums is Paris by Supertramp, the live concert, and he says, go and pick the perfect side on that double album. I went, okay, it's a tough one, and I've done it, so that's what's coming up next. So bye for now.